ASMR Weetle, and today I will be doing a requested video, a retro gaming ASMR video where I talk about old games and old consoles and stuff like that. Yeah. So that will be fun. It was a requested video, and today I'm doing it, and this will be fun. I have also brought with, it's more of a relaxed video, so I have brought with Easter candy and my Easter egg filled with chocolate stuff in it. I might do a video later in the weekend where I talk about Easter and Norwegian Easter. Another Easter special video with other words. So anyway, I hope you're relaxed. I hope you feel calm. I hope you're having a great and blessed good day and great day. And I hope you enjoy what I will be doing today, because today I will be doing mostly just talking about retro gaming ASMR. So this will be sort of a special interest type of video, but it will be fun to do. Yeah. So if you do enjoy my content, remember to click the like button, and remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you did enjoy the video. Thank you in advance. Anyway, so let's begin, shall we, by just getting to it. Now, I got to borrow the PlayStation 1 from my sister. It actually used to be my PlayStation many years ago, but as I had no more need of it, seeing as all the games I played was remastered on the Xbox, my sister got it, but I got to borrow it for this video. I also used to own a Nintendo DS, which my sister now have. But as I don't use the Nintendo anymore, but I did used to play Nintendo DS games when I was child. It was mostly Super Mario, which I played, and it was 2 games. I think it was Super Mario Smash Bros or something like that. And when it was the Super Mario game 64 thing, where you are in that castle area and there are portraits and stuff, you can walk into different worlds. So I used to do that when I was younger. That's good memories actually. But I'll be mostly talking about PlayStation 1 and Xbox 360 in this one, because and the Xbox, because that's primarily been my experience with gaming. But before I begin, I just I like to just stroke the chocolate, the candy wrappings. Okay, so this is more of a next video. So you want some? Yeah, there are lots of content there. There are things like this, and you see how chocolate has glued itself to it. And there are things like this, and this also. Yeah, I'm going to. Always enjoyable with that fruit and jelly candy. Yeah, and here is my Easter egg again. I showed you this a few days ago. Here is the Norwegian chocolate Stratos. I'm going to offer it to you. There you go. Okay. Now, let's just talk about. Let's just be talking about. So let's just talk about. Let's just be talking about the retro gaming ASMR. The retro gaming ASMR. The retro gaming ASMR video I'll be doing that. Sorry. I hope you're relaxed and calm. Anyway, behind me you see a PlayStation 1. A console, and that's the console I used a lot in my childhood to play various PlayStation 1 games, from Spyro to Crash Bandicoot, and even some racing games. But it was mostly Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, because Spyro and Crash Bandicoot were my favorites, especially Crash Bandicoot. you know, it was so enjoyable to just... here you can see an old cover, a PlayStation 1 Crash Bandicoot cover. Yeah, it was so enjoyable to sort of play it was very enjoyable to play Crash Bandicoot when I was a child because it was challenging and it was fun and it just made things feel really nice. And even in my teens, I loved playing Crash Bandicoot. I know I can't explain to you something sort of magical and cartoonish but cool about playing Crash Bandicoot because it was just fun, you know, with all the various levels and the various islands and the worlds. And then of course Crash Bandicoot 2 with the various rooms and stuff, and Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, which show all the different time rooms sort of and levels, including the underwater levels, which was also fun. Although now in older age, given what I struggle a little with fish, and sharks and especially eels, it can be a challenge to get through those levels. Yeah, but I do. Now anyway, so you know, and of course you also have Crash Team Racing, also very enjoyable, and even Crash Bash, the party game. I played all of them and I enjoyed all of them. Then you have Spyro, and here is Spyro 3, Year of the Dragon. So this is Year of the Dragon, and here you can see the back cover of this Year of the Dragon and Spyro. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first Spyro. I appreciate the first Spyro more as I've gotten older, but as a child of course I loved playing Spyro 2 and 3 because they were improved versions of the first game. So, and I loved Spyro 3 because all of the different playable characters, you know, like Shayla the King. Is she in the cover there? Somewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure she is, but like Shayla the kangaroo, and then you have the crazy monkey guy, and that snowman club yeti thingy, and of course Sant Bird, you know, the military bird, one of my favorites. Really enjoyable, and Sparks of course. Can't forget Sparks because he is also playable in some minor levels. And of course, Spyro, Gateway to Glimmer, as it's called in Europe. In US, I think it's called Riptos Rage, but in Europe it's called Gateway to Glimmer. Also a very enjoyable game, very fun game. Really, you know, there are some fun mini games and stuff, and it was pretty much one of my very favorites as a child. I loved playing it, and I loved the various places which shifted according to season, like the first place being summer themed, the second being autumn themed, and then the third place being winter themed, which sort of gets you in holiday Christmas spirit, and then the last bonus place when you have completed everything else was spring themed, so it sort of was nice. And of course Spyro 3 took it by times of day, like it will go from like morning to night, to the bonus level being sort of morning again, I think, more or less. Yeah, very enjoyable, very enjoyable. And then you had of course in the first Spyro, there were various types of words, like we had swamp word, like which was this creepy place, bonk vomit, and a creepy place with some creepy creatures, and a robot machine as a boss, I think. And then you had this magical dream place which float with castles floating in the heaven. You had that last place with all the dragon status thingies in a circle. And of course you had the snow magical place, and the military canyon place, and the first grassy hills place you had. So I enjoyed, and of course you also have the speedways, which can be very frustrating and challenging. Yeah, I've been frustrated at some of us at times. Like, I can be frustrated when I game too, like anyone. Yeah. But it's fun to challenge us, and sometimes fun afterwards to have been frustrated, even if you sort of get annoyed at the game as you play it, and you are like, why can't we create this properly? And oh my god, how can I create this so and you just get annoyed. But when it's fun, when you finally beat it, when you get annoyed at the game and the developers when you fail, but when you succeed and when it feels good, and it's like great. I think a lot of gamers can recognize themselves in that, Anyway, that annoyance where you just get super frustrated and sort of angry when you don't succeed at the game. Yeah. So that's super fun. You have the classic PlayStation 1 console with PlayStation controls. We have PlayStation 2 control there and a PlayStation 1 control there. Very familiar to play when I was young. Very fun. And here you have an X360 console, which is not really in use for me anymore because I use Xbox One now. But here you have an old-fashioned Xbox 360 console, and this is very familiar to me because I used this console for so many years. I think I got an Xbox 360 in 2010 or 2009 or something like that, and I used it for 7, 8, maybe 9 years, almost a decade. So it's a really familiar console to me. It brings me a lot of good memories, and some memories of frustration at playing the games too, but lots of good memories. No, in a way it brings me back to a time when I feel things were, or shall I put this, less complicated in my life. I mean, you had, it's sort of wrong because in a way I enjoy the current time in my life a lot more than any earlier time in my life, actually. I enjoy the current time in my life a lot more, but less complicated. I don't mean that it was better necessarily, but rather that there was less burdens to carry in a way, in a sort of way, because but it's sort of not correct what I say, because there were more burdens than two. It's difficult to explain, really. I think what was, I don't know how to explain it, because my childhood, my youth was very complicated, and then there was this time where I was in class with disabilities where it for a time was a little less complicated, and then but I'm actually much happier now than in the earlier time in my life, and so it has been for the past few months and years, really. So it's not entirely correct what I say. I think it's just that I didn't have as much stuff actively on my mind as I do now. I think that's what I mean with less complicated. So here you have two Xbox 360. Here you have a classics Mass Effect game. The first Mass Effect. An ancient threat returns when final hope emerges. And here you have companions like Garrus, Rex, and here you have Shepard, and you have a Volus, a Salarian, and a Krogan, I think, in a suit, and other stuff. And there's a human character called Ashley on the Shepard's left there. So yeah. So this is Mass Effect, and here you have Siren, the villain of the game, staring ominously at the top of the picture. Very enjoyable. And then you have Jet Set Radio Shoot, another truly enjoyable game. A very short game if you just go by the main plot, but if you do some bonus stuff, you can prolong it a little. It's a really simple game, and it's sort of a cult classic, I think, but it's really an enjoyable game. It's a game from 2003, but it's this gameplay with skating and stuff like that, and it sort of has a cool storyline as well, a short but cool storyline of 8 or 9 chapters. And then, and you just are one of these people that just go around graffitiing the entire world, and then you fight cops, and you fight it's a really cartoonish game, but you fight cops, and you fight boss, and you fight other gangs and stuff like that, and a lot of crazy stuff really. The game just gets crazier and crazier the further into the go. Really. There's even a nice arena segment. Yeah, so I enjoy that. I enjoy that. Other than that, I enjoy Mass Effect and Dragon Age and Knights of the Old Republic. You know, Knights of the Old Republic is a Star Wars game set millennia before the original Star Wars trilogy, and it's really an enjoyable, nice type of game because it sort of sees the traditional good versus evil versus good type of game. Good. So it's sort of traditional type of game, and you can choose whether you want to be light or not in the game, what type of character you want to be. So it has different endings and stuff like that. And I also enjoyed the sequel, The Sith Lords. I think we should make a third single player game, just to be clear that. There have been talk of it for years, but so far we haven't done it yet. But there are rumors, but there have been rumors for years now, so we'll see. You know, because the Sith Lords didn't exactly conclude things. I know that there is a multiplayer game which is meant to be a follow-up to Old Republic, but I'd appreciate a third single-player game, really. But it's really enjoyable stuff, and it allows you to travel to different planets in the Star Wars universe and stuff like that. It's an old-fashioned game, but it's enjoyable if you do enjoy old-fashioned games, and I do. With all the characters and choices and stuff like that. My Mass Effect is probably more my favorite because it's sort of more of an up-to-date game and more to me the universe within the game. I mean, the Star Wars as a franchise is much more vast than Mass Effect, but as a game universe I feel Mass Effect is a little more vast than Knights of the Old Republic. I feel Mass Effect universe is so nice because it's an entirely new universe and it's exciting with humanity of the future sort of joining the galaxy and stuff like that. And I enjoyed Dragon Age 2, which is this fantasy game, which is this fantasy sort of franchise. A Dragon Age 4 is coming soon actually, and of course a Mass Effect 2, a true Mass Effect 4 is said to be in development too. So, and Dragon Age is of course set in a more medieval fantasy type of setting, but I enjoy those games too. And I enjoy Fable and Kingdoms of Amalur. There are lots of games I enjoy. Yeah, you know, before we conclude this video, we can take a closer look at a traditional PlayStation 1 console. Yeah, you can see here, shall we, let's just unwrap it, shall we? Yeah, so we see it a little better. I don't know if anyone found that a little relaxing in some odd, bizarre way, but anyway, you can see the start button, the select button, and various arrows and stuff like that. Button. And yeah. And of course the traditional buttons, X, triangle, circle and square. Very traditional PlayStation sort of stuff. People who played PlayStation 1 recognize these sort of consoles. They're not as comfortable as the newer consoles, they're much more harder to hold in your hand, but I was so used to it when I was young. I didn't mind. And then where things fell down. When you have a PlayStation 1 console, you know, so here you can see it. It's really traditional, old-fashioned 1990s type of console. It's a little dusty, as you can see. So it's, and you know, and you can just, yeah, and this was how it was. You pressed the button and you opened it, and you put the disc inside. Very traditional, and you put it on here and stuff like that. And could have a reset button here. So yeah. So I hope you enjoyed me just talking about my interests in retro gaming, and I hope you're good. I hope you feel good, light and relaxed. And I hope this video just was of interest to somebody. There are so many things I enjoy